So in this video, I'm going to talk about what is my framework to pick which project to work on. Because as a developer, if you start working on any project, the number one thing is the success of that product. Like you will spend so much time developing, marketing, and in the end, if nobody is using your product, then it's kind of a failure and you have to move on to another thing. This is something which I have learned by doing multiple failures, multiple projects, and now I have a framework which kind of works. So in this video, let's talk about that one thing. This is a place where I generally make ideas happen. This is not a place where ideas happen. So first, let's go to a place where ideas do happen.
मैं सुन लिया वो मैं खुल रहा हो मैं उड़ रहा दूर आजाद मैं पंछियां ओ कल्ले ही खुशा मैनू रहने दो कल्ला मेरे तो ना पूछो सवाल ओ कल्ले ही खुशा मैनू मिली कल राती सवेरे ओ कमरे तो बाहर ओ कल्ले ही खुशा मैनू रहने दो कल्ला
People have like overhyped the ideas, like what are ideas, how important they are. In general, execution is everything, but it still matters what kind of idea you are executing. So in a way, ideas do matter, and well, let's discuss that in more detail here. So most of the ideas which I have come across for all my projects, they never happen when I'm sitting in front of the screen. So generally this is a sweet spot I have found out near my home where I generally come to watch the sunset.
ਵਾਦਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਅਫਸੋਸ ਲੰਬੀ ਲੰਬੀ ਰਾਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਦੇਣਾ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਦੋਸ਼ ਮੈਂ ਸੁਣ ਲਿਆ वो मैं खुल रहा हो मैं उड़ रहा दूर आजाद मैं पंछियां ओ कल्ले ही खुशा मैनू रहने दो कल्ला मेरे.
So in my last 10 years, I have figured out there are 3 ways in which a software product can be made. One is the pain. The main pain point, if you are solving a pain for anyone, that is one of the idea. And the another could be like the technology. So technology is a field, for example, like blockchain is there is Web3, and then there is AI, then all these technology terms which keep popping up. So you can have an idea, for example, if you are hearing first time about Web3 and you would be very excited, so you can build a product on that particular technology. It could not be your pain or anyone's pain, but you are just excited about the technology, you want to leverage it, so you might build a project on that. And one of my favorite is clone. So clone is if you want to clone an existing product and give some value to it. So if you're thinking about an idea, one of my favorite is the topic pain. And I have understood, like, whenever you figure out a pain point of any user or yourself or your personal life, there is an opportunity to find an idea which is definitely worth working into. Now, let me just give you some examples. Now, there could be 2 pain points. One is at your work and another could be at your personal life. My favorite are usually where you have a pain in your work. For example, when I was working in a company, I used to be tagged a lot in Slack, and there were like thousands of messages or hundreds of messages where I was tagged in. So what I did, I thought about this problem. I created a product which used to, like it was just a webhook. The Slack used to receive, my Notion board used to receive these webhooks and put all my tagged messages in there. And then I used to give it to ChatGPT and say, hey, which one is the most relevant out of these? And it used to create a priority list, which one should I look at, with the link of that particular message, so I can just go through it. So this is a very simple example. I think it took me 1 hour. It solved my pain point. And if I wanted, I could have distributed it as a packaged product in itself. Now, in the same category, if you think about at work, there could be pain points from other people work. Like maybe your friend is telling you some problem he's facing in his office, and you might think, okay, this is an interesting thing. Maybe I can solve it and give this solution in the form of a software product to your friend, and they could start testing it out. And I usually don't like it because until you have not experienced that pain yourself, it's very hard to come up with a solution. Then you rely on external factors, how your friend is communicating that problem to you or other people are communicating that problem to you. If you do not understand that problem very well, and especially like if you are an indie, it becomes very hard because you don't have this budget to spend years or months talking to customers or talking to people who have this problem. And that's why I generally avoid problems which you have at work. other people's work. I generally like the problems which I have at my work. Now, the same point, like pain points about when people have these pain in their own personal life, or based on your shaking ability. So another thing is pain points in your own personal life. It could be in your own life. It could be on the life of people you know, or it could be on the life of people you don't know. So there are three segments if you want to solve for personal pain problems of users. So let me just go through it one by one, and let's pick which one is my favorite. So generally, if you are thinking about a pain point, and it could be on your own personal life. Let's say I was talking to one of my friend, and he wanted to have kind of a recipe tablet installed in his kitchen, so that whenever his maid is out, wanted to make like what kind of lunch or dinner he wants, they can just send a message directly to that iPad, and with using AI, the recipe should be present to the maid, and she doesn't have to like ask about what they want. They can just have a prepared meal with all the instructions, all the ingredients added on that iPad. Now, this is a very specific personal pain point, and again, you can again package it or sell it. Another is you think about pain of people you know. For example, like my mom, she might have some issues. She's a teacher. She might have some problems in her school. So I might think, okay, I can solve a problem of my mom because I know her personally. And I find this is also, in a sense, is easier if you are talking, if you see the pain points of people you know, and it becomes like a bit easier to figure out. So this is also a very sweet spot. So number one in the pain arena, I would give to my own personal problems in my life. Second would be pain points of people I know personally. And the third, which I would never pick, is personal pain of other people. So for example, there are my like neighbors. I do not talk to them, and I think, okay, they always go to the balcony to dry their clothes. So maybe I can find a solution of their problem, which is not my problem, which is not the problem of people I know, I have personally handled. I just observe these people like drying their clothes on a balcony, and I might think that this is a problem worth solving. I might start talking to them, but still I would never pick a personal problem which is of a person who I don't know. Talking about like the technology problems, like ideas around technology, like if you are excited about any new technology which is out there, it could be Web3, it could be blockchain, or it could be any new technology which is coming up, and you are so excited, you think, yes, this is a trend and I can ride this wave, let's make a project. You are not really excited about any problem as such, or you do not want, the market is not validated, you're just jumping on a wagon because it's hip, it's new, and you're making a product just to tinker around that idea. So I mean, these kind of ideas I generally stay away from. Third, and this is also one of my favorite after pain, which is cloning. This is generally, I give advice to everyone who is new into building, like always start with cloning. Now cloning can be of multiple types. Like you want to clone a project, so you can clone and make a open source like a software. So you just make it public, and you can clone any big existing SaaS and start making an open source project out of it. This is again a very sweet spot. A lot of companies have done this. I recently I started building my own like a Mac recorder app, and I noticed there is an app called Capso, which is a clone of Loom, but they are doing it open source and gaining a pretty good traction. So if you are out of ideas, just look at any big SaaS, start cloning it and making an open source project out of it. And in the same cloning, the second option you have is new niches. So if you found any niche which is pretty new and you want to clone any existing project, for example, let's say you find like, okay, there is Twitter. Twitter is for everyone, right? So you can niche it down. You can clone Twitter exactly, but you can market it to a different audience. Like you can just make a Twitter for developers, where developer post about what they are building. You can call it build in public, like Twitter for developers or something like that. So you found a niche of people and you make a huge project specifically targeted to them. Or the other thing is you can clone into a new geography, which most of the big companies have already done. As you know, in India, most of the startups which are huge right now are kind of a clone for Indian geography from US. So Uber, we have Ola, they have Uber. So once they saw Uber is gaining traction, they started Ola, which is a new geography they started in. And similarly, if you know about this company called Rocket Internet. So Rocket Internet's whole business is they clone everything which Silicon Valley produces within few months, and they launch it in Russia or in Europe or different regions, but not launch them in US, and they are like a multi-billion-dollar company. Or you can do another thing, like you can clone a project and start adding a new pricing. Let's say ChatGPT. So ChatGPT takes $20 a month from you. You can start a ChatGPT clone where you would ask users that they will only be paying for the usage basis instead of paying monthly. So there are a subset of users which would be interested in such kind of a deal. So this is again cloning a big project and starting with a new pricing strategy on that. So this is my framework of coming up with interesting ideas which you want to pick. What is my best strategy out of all these? So my strategies are, the number one thing is I look at, is it a pain, and is it a pain at my work? Then I will go and build it. I will not think about it, because if it's not even sellable, still it will fix one of my problem in my work. So technically I cannot fail at it. If I fix my own problem, I have fixed something. No matter if it didn't make money, for like people were not finding that problem very interesting, but it was my problem. I fixed my problem and I'm happy with it, with the outcome, no matter what. So that's my sweet spot, the number one thing. Second, I always go to projects which are kind of a clone. So cloning works really great, because clone means the market is already established. There is a demand for that kind of a product, and as an indie, I do not want to waste my time figuring it out or going into a territory which is not very well well known, and there are chances of failure huge. Do not copy pixel to pixel every product. You should have something unique. That's what I usually try with most of my products. So yeah, this is my framework. But yeah, out of all these, which one would you pick? So this is what my framework is currently to come up with, like which kind of ideas I want to work in. So just to recap this, the one which I would definitely be picking as my next idea would be something which is a pain, and it's a pain at my work. Then if it's a personal problem, which is my personal problem, then this would be a very good contender for a next project. Another is clone. One of the project which I'm currently working on is making one big app as an open source project. Another is like distributing with a different level of pricing and tiering. These are like some of my favorite ideas. So if you like this video, please subscribe, and I would really appreciate if you like this video and leave a comment. I do reply back on most of the comments which I get on these videos. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.